Good evening, everybody. So I'm so glad that you were asking about yoga because I've got some time here before my family gets home for the day. So we'll do a little class focused on hips as suggested and requested, hamstrings and shoulders. So I'm gonna adjust my camera really quickly because I can see a little bit of box there. Okay, perfect. So I want you to start in a seated position. Remember, you can do this anytime that you want. Class will be about 30 minutes or so. So find a nice comfortable seat here. Let your hands rest on your lap. Allow your eyes to gently close. And as you are seated, I want you to press down through your hips, down through the sit bones, and reach up through the crown of your head. And as you do this, lengthen through the spine, and as you breathe the chest up towards the chin. Begin to lengthen and deepen your breath. And as you do that, notice your body's response. And then gently open your eyes if you wish. We're going to move just a little bit deeper into that stretch. I want you to walk your hands forward and find a seated forward fold. Let the shoulder blades relax away from the spine. Let the head hang heavy. And as you breathe, feel your back body expanding, the hips stretching, lower back releasing. Last 2 breaths here. With the breath in, start to walk yourself back up. And then we're going to switch the cross of our legs. So whatever leg is in front, go ahead and take it in back. And find that seated forward fold again. And if you can't go very far, don't even worry about that. Just go to where you feel that stretching sensation and breathe. As you inhale, come back up, walk yourself back up, and let's go ahead and come into a tabletop position. So stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips right above your knees here. We're just going to do a little bit of mobility to get the glutes warm. So what I'd like you to do from your tabletop, I want you to take your right leg out to the side, kind of like a fire hydrant. Then I want you to circle it back in and up towards the chest. You're going to go out, back and around, and then in towards the chest. Just make some really big circles here. Get your hips warm, your glutes warm. One more circle this direction, and then switch it out, move the other way. Try and lift that knee up as high as possible. Draw it in as close and tight to your armpit as possible. Let's take 2 more circles here. And then we'll pause in tabletop. Switch sides. So begin by taking your left knee up and off of the mat. Open it out to the side. Draw it up in towards the armpit, into the chest, and then around. So I guess these are clockwise circles. Again, lift the knee high. Circle it around. The bigger the circle, the better. One more this direction. And then switch. In, out, and around. Do 2 more here in this direction. And then we'll release back down into tabletop. While you're here, take your knees wide, big toes touch or close to touching. Draw the hips all the way back towards the heels and reach your arms forward and come into child's pose. I want you to draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Spread the collarbones really wide and allow your forehead to rest on your mat. Again, nice deep breaths here. Feel that stretch across your chest into your shoulders. Last 2 breaths here. And I want you to come back up into tabletop. Please curl your toes under behind you and lift your hips up and back as we come to our first downward facing dog. So lift the hips up towards the ceiling, press the chest towards the thighs. Go ahead and move around a little bit here by bending your knees, pedaling the feet. I like to turn my toes over, give them a little bit of a stretch. You might even want to shift forward into plank and then back up into downward facing dog. Still in that exploration phase, I like to call it, checking in, noticing how you're feeling, especially after doing maybe some new movements this week. Now, as you settle into your downward dog, I want you to make sure the weight is not sinking into the wrists, but rather you're pushing down through the finger pads, down through the knuckles, and then letting that energy travel up the arms. Arms are engaged. Spine is long, low belly draws in. Now from your downward dog, reach your right leg high to the sky. As you exhale, bend the knee and roll the hip open. Remember those circles we did in tabletop? We're going to do them here. Circle in, out, and around. In, out, and around. One more time. In, out, and around. Pause at the top. Switch directions. So moving counterclockwise now. Maybe feeling popping through the hip. The next time your knee is bent and hip is open, pause for a breath in. Breathe in. Straighten the legs, square the hips, and then release your right leg down, downward dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, release all the way down to the ground. Once you're on your tummy, take your hands under your shoulders, draw the collarbones wide, inhale up into a cobra. Just a baby cobra here, lightweight in the hands. And that energy is drawing back, not pushing down. Take one more inhale. Exhale, child's pose, press back. Thighs wide or together. Just draw the hips back towards the heels, stretch. Inhale up to tabletop or cat. I like to round through my back here and lengthen the spine. Exhale back in a downward facing dog, hips lift. Now second side inhale, float your left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee and roll the hip open. Start to take those really big circles again. Notice if one direction is more challenging than the other. Switch direction of your circles. Two more here. And then pause at the top with bent knee, hip open, take a breath in. Straighten the legs, square off the hips, and then release back into downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, plank. Exhale down to the ground. You can use your knees here if you'd like. Point the toes back, push the tops of the feet down, inhale into cobra. So peel yourself up. Elbows draw in, heart pulls forward, inhale. Exhale, child's pose. Pull the hips back towards the heels and stretch. And as you breathe in, come back up in a tabletop or cat, rounding, tucking the chin to the chest. Exhale back, downward dog. Tuck the toes and lift your hips up. Inhale, send your right leg high. This time, exhale, lunge. Take a great big step through. So you want to plant your right foot at the top of your mat. Keep the back knee lifted. Now I want you to begin by reaching your right arm forward. And then take the arm up to the ceiling for a twist, palms facing away. Then reach the arm back behind you and then down to the ground. So we just made a big circle. Reach forward, reach up, and reach back. 2 more. Forward, up, and back. Forward, up, and back. Pause in your lunge. Keep the right hand down. Switch sides. So the left arm is going to reach forward, then up, and then back. Forward, up, and back. It's kind of like you're swaying backstroke here. Last one. And then pause in your lunge. Plant your hands, step back into plank. Now, your choice. From here, you can go right back into down dog. You can lower all the way down to the ground like we just did, or lower halfway for chaturanga. Narrow push-up, elbows in. Inhale into up dog or cobra, open across the chest, nice big back bend. Exhale back, downward dog. Toes flip over. Hips lift up. Second side, left leg reaches up towards the ceiling. Exhale, great big step through, lunge. Take a moment, soften through the hips. Let your right hip flexor lengthen and stretch. Pull your chest forward, draw the left hip back. Starting with our left arm now. Left arm reaches forward. Then reach it up to the ceiling. Finish the circle by going back and around. So forward, up, and then back. Forward, up, and back. 2 more. Forward, up, and back. Forward, up, and back. And then keep the left hand down, switch sides. Right arm goes forward, up, and back. Maintain the breath. No particular inhale or exhale pattern. Just breathe as feels comfortable to you. One last circle here. And then we'll pause in our lunge. Plant your hands. Step back for plank. Your choice, down dog, lower to the belly, or halfway down chaturanga. And then inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Now keep your feet towards the back edge of your mat and walk your hands to meet your feet. Once your hands meet your feet, take a halfway lift and breathe in. Lengthen from your crown to your tailbone. And then exhale, soften into forward fold. So since we're kind of focusing on shoulders tonight, I want you to sweep your arms behind your back, interlace your fingers, and reach the knuckles up towards the ceiling. Dangle the head. Maintain the breath. Oops. Make sure the weight is forward in the balls of the toes. Hips keep getting lighter, more lifted. Perhaps legs are straightening. Let's take 4 more breaths here. And gently lower the fingertips down towards the ground. As you breathe in, stand all the way up, mountain pose, Tadasana. Oops, my head just got cut off. Reach your arms up and overhead. Bring your palms to touch. See if I can get in the frame. Then as you exhale, stretch up and over to the right. Press the hips to the left. Find some length across your left side. Openness across the chest. Now inhale back to center. Exhale, switch. Go up and over to the left. Press the hips right. Chest is open, tailbone is heavy, lower belly is in. Inhale, please come back to center. Exhale, swan dive forward. Press out through the hands. Lead with the heart as you come back down into your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And then exhale, walk yourself forward into plank again. Now from your plank, lower all the way down to the ground. Back to our shoulders. Take your right arm out to the side in a T or a goalpost position. Bend your left knee. Keep your left hand pressing. You're going to roll to the right. You can hold your head up or let it relax down. Left arm can stay planted, or you can come into a half bind and wrap the arm around the back. Great stretch for your shoulder, the chest. And let's come back to center. Roll back to your stomach. Switch it out. So bring the right hand in under the shoulder. Left arm goes out to the side. Bend your right knee and roll to the left. Oh. Hold your head up or let it relax down. And as you breathe in, come back to center. Draw the hands underneath the shoulders. Press up into tabletop. So if you come to my yoga classes, you know this next pose is probably one of my favorites, if not the favorite, and it's puppy pose. So it's kind of like child's pose, like a mix of child's pose and tabletop. You're going to keep your hips over your knees. I don't want you to let your hips sink back. Keep your hips stacked over the knees. And then walk your arms forward. Lower your chest down towards the ground, chin to the ground, mouth to the ground, forehead to the ground. Super intense stretch across the chest. If it is too intense, bend your right elbow and let your forehead rest on that forearm. I'll tell you when we're halfway through so you can switch sides. But again, just breathe through that resistance. Each exhale, melt a little bit deeper into it. Go ahead and switch arms if you bent one of your elbows. And start to slide the hands back towards the shoulders. Press yourself back up in a tabletop. We're going to come through to seated. So we're not going to do regular pigeon today. We'll be doing that probably in every other class because I want to get some hamstring stuff in as well here tonight. So once you're seated, go ahead and please lay back on your mat. Extend your left leg long and your right leg towards the ceiling. And then grab either behind the hamstring, the calf, or the ankle, and stretch the back of the right leg. Really try to stay active through this right foot here for a while. Pull your toes towards your face. Press the heel away. If that means you grab on higher on the leg, then so be it. You'll notice that you feel a little deeper, more intense stretch here with the foot flex. And that's what we want. We want the sensation. And from here, we're going to move into a happy baby. Begin to bend the right knee, drawing it towards your chest. And then grab for the outer edge of your right foot. Maybe you can't reach that. Then you're going to grab onto the ankle. And you're going to pull down. The knee is outside of the armpit. Feel a stretch through the groin. Foot is still flexed, and you're really pulling. I'm very, very active here in my upper body as I pull on my foot and draw the knee down. And for a moment, keep your right leg as it is, but I want you to bend the left knee, plant the foot on the ground. Take your right ankle and cross it over the left thigh. Now draw the left thigh into the body. Interlace your fingers behind the right hamstring. And use your right elbow to open this right knee wide. You could also keep your left hand behind the hamstring. Use your right hand to press the knee away. So you've got this in and out action. The left knee is drawing in, right knee is pressing out. Whatever you're doing, make sure you feel this in your right hip. Just a couple more breaths here. And you're going to keep your left leg as it is, but uncross the right leg, send it long down on the mat. Straighten the left leg, and we'll start that sequence here. Keep your hands behind the hamstring or walk up to the ankle or the foot. Flex the toes back. Notice if your shoulders are creeping up. Mine were kind of creeping up as I was reaching, so soften those shoulders. See if you can draw the leg in a little bit more. Now from here, we find that happy baby. Begin to bend your left knee. Grab onto the outer edge of the foot or hold on to the ankle and pull down outside of the left shoulder. Now if this is pulling too much on your right hip flexor, feel free to bend the right knee and plant the right foot. And I'm so happy that you guys are doing yoga. I try and do yoga, right? It's really hard. It's like the guy who is the lawn guy has the worst lawn. The hairdresser always has a hat on. But it's very important once you start strength training to maintain your flexibility. It's going to help your muscles recover, and it's going to help you maintain your mobility. So continue to keep up your yoga practice. And I've noticed that my yoga practice has changed. Like I used to really enjoy to flow and do a vinyasa style. But now I really like a deeper stretch. I love a yin class. Of course, I love restorative. Now from this half happy baby, we're going to move into that figure four. So bend your right knee in towards the body. Take your left ankle and cross it over the right thigh. Interlace the fingers behind the right hamstring and stretch the left hip. But it's all about finding a balance. And in yoga, we use these terms of yin, which I mentioned a moment ago, and yang. You may think it's yang. It's not yang. In this sense, it's yang. Anyway, yin is more softer, more feminine, mellower, low-key energy. And when we stretch like this, it's the yin energy. When we're in the weight room and we're doing our HIIT training, that's more the yang. We don't want to be too much of anything. We want to find a nice middle of the road place to be, and that's where you'll find sustainability. Take a couple more breaths. And then finally, Uncross the legs. Draw the knees in towards the chest. I don't want to do a full happy baby, but what I do want to do is an upward angle or a supine upward angle. So you're going to straighten your legs out to the sides. Grab onto your ankles or your calves. I'm not sure how well you can see me right here. You're just going to straddle stretch on your back, and you can rock side to side here. Get one last stretch for the hamstrings and the hips. The inner thighs that are so hard to get to. And if there's any other poses that you would like to do before I lead you into Shavasana, feel free to take some time. If you're doing this at home, in your own time, take all the time that you can. Eventually, hug the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around the legs. Curl into a little ball and squeeze in nice and tight. And then finally, relax all the way down. Finding our final pose together, Shavasana or corpse pose. If you're dealing with any back issues or injuries, feel free to bend the knees, plant the feet, and let your knees just relax together. You could also do Shavasana on your side in fetal position. But wherever you are, let the eyes close, the jaw relax, feet flop open, palms spin to the sky, and your breath returns to its natural rhythm. I am actually going to leave you here in Shavasana so that you can spend as much time as you like. Just surrendering down into the ground, giving yourself lots and lots of time. But thank you for taking a moment to slow down, to breathe, to open your hips, your hamstrings, and your shoulders. Everyone is doing a wonderful job. So proud of you all. Namaste.